Hey guys, I'm Big Mike, and like always, I'd like to thank you for being here today. Today we have an Ask Me Anything session with Peter Davies of Jigsaw Trading. They're pretty famous for their order flow tools for NinjaTrader and their custom DOM for NinjaTrader. The AMA sessions are quick and casual. They're limited to 30 minutes. There is no prepared presentation. The recording of the AMA will be uploaded to the AMA thread after the event is over. And guys, you can go ahead and just start typing your questions while you give me 1 second to turn things over to Peter. Hey Peter, I've turned your mic on, and you should now see the option to share your screen.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike, and thanks everybody for coming. Okay, so okay, you should have the screen now.
Yep, there we go. Okay,
You've got the one that looks like a dome?
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
While we're waiting for a couple questions to come in, just go ahead and tell me what we're seeing on the screen here.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, that is the depth and sales. So that is kind of the dome product. Over here, just the left of that is the trading interface window. The long window in the middle is the reconstructed tape, and then we can take those off for now. They're not mine. And then this is the summary tape. So this is one of the other tools that we do. So those are the three Jigsaw tools.
Okay, and so all of these are for NinjaTrader?
Absolutely, yes.
And is there any reason that you need to run the DOM that comes with Ninja, or does this totally replace that?
No, it totally replaces it. It hooks in straight into the back end.
Okay. All right, guys, so just a reminder that as you have questions, go ahead and type them in. That's the point of being here. So, Peter, how long have you had this product?
Well, it first started almost 3 years now. I actually wrote the prototype, but we've been on the market almost 2 years.
Okay. Ralph is asking if you have any chart trading.
No, I don't do chart trading, but if you place a trade through this dome, you can modify it using Chart Trader in Ninja. So
Okay.
it's fully integrated to Ninja.
What about the other way around? What if you use Chart Trader to get in? Could you manage the position using this DOM?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just orders. Ninja doesn't care. We don't care.
Okay.
You know how the orders got created.
So walk us through again a little bit more detail what we're seeing. So I see some volume profile stuff. I see the histogram. I see value area and the initial balance, overnight low.
Yeah.
Looks like a developing value area. What else are we seeing here?
Yeah, so on the left-hand side here, really, all that is a place for you to put in the areas you're looking at. So it's just really free format text. It doesn't generate automatically.
Okay, gotcha.
Then this column here, that's where you see your orders that you've placed. This is obviously the volume profile. We've got the price. This column here shows me the total amount of trades that have hit into the bid, and over on the right, total trades that have hit into the offer, and that resets itself. I presume you can see my cursor, right?
Yes.
My mouse.
Yeah. It resets when?
Okay, cool. Right. Yeah. It doesn't reset. It resets if you do this, basically. So if you want to clear it out.
Okay, so you could
and that's
start
kind of
like at the cash open and then accumulate the values.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It'll actually reset if you want to. It'll actually reset automatically at the cash open. These two columns in the center, they're the current trades hitting into the bid and the offer, and basically what they do, they show you what's hitting in right now, and if you leave an area and come back, they will reset. So it's kind of, but if you just tick up, let's say you just tick up for a second and come back in, that's not really leaving the area, so we kind of leave it as it is in that case.
Oh, okay. That's a bit different than I've seen on other platforms, so that could be useful.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously you've got the depth. You can see the depth. And then on the outside of the depth is what we call the snapshot, and that tells you how many contracts have been added or subtracted since we moved to this level. So if, as you saw then, we ticked down and those numbers got cleared. So when you tick down, it'll clear those numbers, and then it will start counting, what's the net change at each level. So you can see basically if they're stacking orders or if they're pulling orders, basically.
And what about actual order entry and management? Are there any differences between your DOM versus the standard DOM?
Not really. It's all one click. We don't have like hundreds of different features for order entry. It's pretty easy. It's just one click. You can click the bids. We have something called an auto feature, and basically what the auto does, if I'm a buyer and I want to enter an order up here, that's going to be a stop order, and if I enter down here, that's going to be a limit order. And if I enter out the inside offer, that's also going to be a limit order. So there's an auto mode that kind of decides whether you want to put a stop or a limit order on.
Okay.
But really, it's just a fairly simple, easy to use order entry interface.
Okay. And I see a box for ATM strategies, so I assume that that's all supported as well.
Yeah, right now it's using Ninja's ATM strategies. So if I tick that on, they're my Ninja ATM strategies.
One of my issues with Ninja in the past has been that I like to place orders, pending orders ahead of time at certain levels, and I like to manage those separately. So I want to be able to place a pending order to get long and then be able to manage that pending target and pending stop before the order is filled. And NinjaTrader doesn't support that. Does your DOM support that?
Okay, so how do you manage it? I'm not really sure I understand how you manage it. Just move it around?
I want to be able to, with Ninja, I can't set my target and stop manually until the order is actually live. So if you look at other products, other platforms, you can manipulate the pending target and pending stop even on a non-executed order.
Yeah, I mean basically you could put in a limit order here, but the problem is if you put in an order up here to get out, then that would actually trigger. So it will actually trigger the first order you submit, the first order that gets hit.
Okay. All right. So it sounds.
So, I mean, you can.
Same limitation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So let's take a look at some of the questions here. We have, let's see. Chuck wants to know. He says, "Hey, Peter, I'm an existing customer, and I noticed the histogram in the alert column. What is that?" So that's the volume profile, right?
Yeah, that's something we added in version 4. So probably got somebody there who's not up to date. It's just a simple volume profile.
Okay, and then as far as the histogram on the very far left column, that's just what?
That's a work in progress. That's just showing me. There's a lot of people that say they want a visual heads up of what's going on. A lot of people say they don't like to use the numbers. So what we did, we put in histograms. This histogram, the big one, shows me the depth, and then the histogram in the middle shows me the snapshot, what's being pulled or cancelled. So it just gives a visual way of showing what's in these columns.
Okay. Can you maybe go through some of those tabs on the settings so we can check out some of those?
Yeah, well, the main one is the parameters first, which this is where you set, how it's going to work, whether you auto-center or not. Right now, we kind of follow Ninja's lead on auto-center. So in this particular license key, I'm not using static DOM. We have a maximum auto-center of 15 ticks if you don't have static DOM license. You can set how much depth you want to see, how much snapshot depth you want to see. Okay. You can turn columns on and off. And then there's some parameters here like how long, if you leave an area, how long do you want to be able to leave an area before it clears it on the way back? Should I print trades if they come up outside of the inside bid offer? How sensitive is the scroll wheel? This is a bit technical. The order quantity step says, if I've got an order and I'm kind of going up and down, how much do I want to step up and down on an order? So that's kind of just some.
Now you mentioned the static DOM license, so there's no getting around that. Everyone still has to pay the per trade fee.
No, well, here's the way we do it. if you've got a license for static DOM, then basically you can turn this auto center off. Okay, so if you've got the Ninja static DOM, you can make this static. If not, if you don't have static DOM licenses, then this is dynamic. So dynamic to us, we will basically auto center if it moves more than 15 ticks away from the center line. So that's our version of dynamic. It doesn't move every tick.
Okay. All right, Nathan's asking if you can go into more detail on the middle column.
The middle columns here. It's basically, if you look at Xtrader and you look at even NinjaTrader, it shows you what the trades are that are hitting into the depth. So the depth is kind of the resting orders. They're showing you the intent. And then this number here, we got this 1676. That's the number of contracts that hit into this bid, okay, since we got here. And then because I've got 1,200 left, I've got 1680 that's hit in, and I've actually got 1243 right now that they've added. So it gives you an idea of, okay, what is the depth, what was the depth before, and how much has hit into it, to give you an idea of, are the bidders actually stepping up to the plate, are the bidders like kind of shying away a little bit. So
like
really,
tracking,
the reason I wrote this is because none of the other domes.
Sorry, there's a big delay. You're in Thailand, right? Sounds like you're tracking iceberg orders, right?
Yeah, you're tracking iceberg orders, but you're also seeing, as you can see here, we've come down, and we've got 417, 584, 184, then 1020, then 2961. So we can see that as we've actually moved down, it's taking more and more contracts to actually tick down through each level. So it kind of gives you like an immediate history of what it's taken to move through a level. So if you're a scalper, you might say, okay, the bidders are firming up there. I might try and scalp along on that.
Okay. Najmul wants to know if it works with equity markets, Forex, as well as futures.
Doesn't work with Forex because there's no depth. It works with equities, but one thing you need to be aware of, if you're looking at a stock like Apple, there might be like 20 cents between the inside bid and the next bid, and that means 20 rows on the dome. So the reason stock traders use level 2, it's side by side. It doesn't have that kind of vertical layout.
Right.
If you wanted to trade stocks, you'd be looking at stocks from $20 to $80. Decent amount of volume, more than 400, 500,000 shares a day. Yeah, it would work in that case, but for stocks like Apple, it would be pretty useless.
Okay. Chuck says, is your reset on new session box checked? His depth and sales isn't showing the gray-black difference for the high-low of session.
Yeah, well, if I say reset on new session, which I do, it means basically when I get into the pitch session, this grey here will disappear, and I'll start new at the open price. I think that answers it, right?
We'll see.
The grey will still be there, but
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
He says yes. Okay.
Cool.
Another question: what are the bars under the IB high text tracking? So I think again, this is the histogram on the far left.
It's a visual representation of these columns, basically snapshot. So the blue bar means I'm adding contracts at this level. So I can see I've got blue here, blue here, blue here, big blue bars. So we're adding contracts everywhere right now. A red bar will say I'm subtracting contracts from that level.
Okay. And so I noticed that there's not any highlighting for the actual value area or the point of control. Any plans to add that?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked for this, and they've also asked for highlighting Fibonacci levels and da-da-da-da-da. I need some way to kind of give the user the ability to set the levels because it's strategy specific. I mean, you've pointed out one of the most popular strategies, it has to be said, but, different people trade in different ways, and it's kind of hard to, make a call on which is the best set of levels to put on here automatically.
Okay. Nathan is asking if you can show us a long entry demo.
A long entry, sure. Let's put we've got an ATM strategy. Okay, let's put 5. So if I just put a limit order buy, So there's an order, a long order, and it's obviously got the ATM strategies on here. I can move orders around, move orders down. I can actually cancel all the orders with a right click, put orders back in. The L there signifies the order type, so I've got a 5S for a stop, 2L for a limit. And what we'll actually do is if I actually bug out of this trade, let me just check, close, outstanding orders when positions closed. If you actually have that set and you get out of the trade, it'll actually close a lot of outstanding orders. Some people, you know, you might have an order quite a few ticks below your screen, and maybe you've missed that, and that gets taken, you know, that hits overnight. So I like this option where it just basically closes everything out once you flatten.
Okay. Najmal asking, how much is it?
The tool set's $350, but that doesn't give you the ability to trade live. The live trading interface is another $50 a month, but when you buy it, you get the first 3 months of live trading free. A lot of the customers are just in trading right now, and then we've got some other customers that trade on other platforms, and we've got, you know, obviously we've got customers that live trade as well.
Okay, and let's also, so we have about a little over 10 minutes left for anybody to get their last minute questions in. Let's take a look at the other tool, the time and sales tool. What can you tell us about that?
Well, basically the time and sales tool, it's a pretty simple tool. It reconstructs the trades that were split up by the CME. So when you submit a market order for 100 contracts, if that gets filled against 20 limit orders for five contracts each, you'll see 20 prints on the time and sale. So this actually reconstructs those trades. It also has alerts for block trades, which is fairly simple. You just put in a quantity and say, okay, this is my alert level. Let's just bring that up.
Okay. So you're basically using like a time differentiator to determine whether or not they should be aggregated together?
It doesn't actually use time. I can't really say what it is, but basically, you know, people could find out. You could find out if you called the exchange, because that's what I did. I actually called the exchanges and asked them, you know, how, you know, a few questions, and they kind of gave me a way to figure it out.
Okay, cool. Let's see, another question. Do you have any particular strategies using order flow DOM for thin markets like oil, Russell, Euro, Dollar, order flow scalping, or intraday positional strategies?
I don't use thin markets myself. We do have a video on the site from Kama L2ST who did a crude scalping video. Basically, it's not what I do, but you're looking really for absorption. You're looking for points. If you're scalping, for sure, you're looking for points where the market gets to an area and the bidders or the sellers or the offers step up and we get absorption. And on top of that, you're also looking for some spoofing. If you actually see the bidders and the offers spoofing, you see large contract, you know, large quantities there. Generally speaking, they're doing that because they want to kind of spook you and they want to make you think something's happening that isn't. So those are the two main things you look for. But I don't trade those markets. I'm not an expert.
Okay. Chuck asking, says he purchased the software 2 to 3 weeks ago and he doesn't see the option for the far left histogram.
Yeah, that's because I haven't released it yet. It's 1 or 2 weeks it'll be out.
Okay. William asking, on the summary tape with depth, when the market ticks up or down, do the orders left over in the parentheses indicate the orders that were pulled as price moved up or down?
Oh, and that's a summary tape depth. It just basically tells you what the depth was when before the trade hit, I believe it is. I would need to check the code, to be honest, because it was a tool that we wrote as a kind of afterthought to get people's feedback on, and I can't remember the exact rules.
Okay. Another comment saying from a customer, so you have quite a few customers already, looks like, that they don't see the working value area, IB high, et cetera, on the screen. So you mentioned those are not automatic. Those are just user-defined labels.
Yeah, I do my homework. before I start, and I put those levels on myself.
Okay.
One of the things I'll do as well, I'll just bring across the chart. So what we also have with the summary tape and with the recon tape, we have these different markers here. The red square shows us where a block trade, a block sell in that case came in. Blue triangles are iceberg orders on the bid. Red triangles here, iceberg orders on the offer. So we have some alerts as well that we put out, which are basically, you have an alert for a block trade, you have an alert for a large amount of trades at a level. It doesn't have to be one trade, but just if you see 4,000 or 5,000 contracts hitting at a level, it means the limit orders are stepping up to the plate. And we have the iceberg alert, and we have a divergence alert, which if we have more quantity on the buy side but it ticks down, that's what we call a divergence.
Okay. Let's see. A few more questions. Steve asks, what is the success rate for this over chart trading?
It's not really one or the other. I mean, most of the people that use it, it's like icing on the cake. That's the way I see it. It helps you see, if you're about to go long, but you've got like thousands of offers above you, and they keep moving down. As price moves down, those offers come down. Those offers are real. You've got very few bids, and you've got like 500 prints hitting into the bid, it ticks down. 600 hitting the print, ticks down. 700 hits into the bid, ticks down. That's not a situation you want to go long. Okay, if you want to go long in an area and you see it starts to slow down, fewer and fewer contracts, and then you get to a level that it stays like 30, 40 seconds at that level, 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 contracts tick through, and it's in a place where your price action analysis says you want to go long, then you go long. So it's kind of a confirmation tool for most people.
Okay. Am I seeing the price action indicator?
Yeah, this is the price action swing, GOMI CD. So yeah, it's stuff from Big Mike.
And then the news calendar from Runius back in the day, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Nathan asking about what is the AMA thread. So just to clarify for everybody, we have several Ask Me Anything, aka AMA, threads on BMT. So if you want to find the thread for Jigsaw Trading, you can just do a search on the top right, type in AMA space Jigsaw, and Jigsaw is one word, and that'll get you to this thread. And that is where I'll be posting the recording about an hour from now once we're done. Okay, so we've actually, looks like we've answered all the questions that are currently in the room. If anybody has other questions, actually Arnie just asked, why Jigsaw? So any feedback on how you came up with that name?
It was actually a company I already had registered. There was nothing more than that. It was actually a company we were importing car alarms into the UK. It had nothing at all to do with trading.
Right. Okay. And I think I asked you already about your username. So am I pronouncing it correctly if I say Dionysus Toast?
I don't know myself. I kind of went onto Wiki looking at Greek gods, and I found the god of wine, and I thought that's probably appropriate.
All right. Okay. Another question asking if it works with equities. So you already explained that it does work, but that you have to be prepared for some equities that are trading with large spreads, right?
Yeah, and just the spread and the gap between prices as well, between bid levels and offer levels. I mean, if you're trading Goldman or trading Apple, there's going to be big gaps. It's not ideal. You'd probably be better to use the summary tape on the far right in that case for reading the order flow.
Okay. So about 5 minutes left. So Peter, what can you tell us about what's coming next? Any plans?
Yeah, we've got some plans basically. We've got more order entry features. We've been asked to do some more platforms. I mean, people are always asking me, can we support more platforms? So really that's the direction we're going to go in next.
Okay.
For the first platform we want to do, we're actually targeting getting people onto cheaper commission structures through various platforms. because we think that's really where the value, there's payoff for everybody if we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, Arnie just asked if you can name the other platforms.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So the pricing structure is, if you want to trade on Sim, then you can do that with just the initial purchase.
Yeah.
But once you go live, then it's $50 per month. And you mentioned that it comes with 3 months. What if somebody, not me, but what if somebody wants to trade Sim after they buy it, but then can they apply those 3 months to their live license at a later date, or does it?
Yeah, there's actually an upgrade. There's actually an upgrade you can do. We have a website, members.jigsawtrading.com. You can go in there, and for anybody who's bought the product, there should be an option on there to add the live trading, and it will give you 3 months free. So it's not just if you buy it when you purchase.
Okay, gotcha. And Nathan's asking about product updates. So how does that work with your pricing structure?
Well, we don't charge for the updates. We do charge if we create a new product. But for us, we're a small company. We actually want everybody on the latest version because it takes less to support than if we've got lots of people on different versions. So, you get the free upgrades, but also if you've got a problem, expect to be told to upgrade first. We're not going to fix problems in old versions.
Right. Okay. Great. So I assume that you've seen the Ninja Trader 8 webinars that Ray has done on BMT. Any thoughts? I imagine that you're going to have to spend quite a bit of development time, to make that transition. Any thoughts on that?
Well, the good thing is we've already, I had the programmer fly down this weekend. Actually, he lives in Thailand, but a different part, and we've already kind of scoped out the architecture for multi-platform support. So we've kind of unhooked our product from Ninja already. There's the amount of the amount of integration now is very small. I mean, we still have some work to do, but basically, it's because we're supporting multiple platforms. We want to keep as much code common as we can. So we have to kind of loosen it, make the integration points very thin. So I don't worry about that at all.
Okay.
We've done this.
Great. All right, man. So we're coming up on the 30 minutes. And I don't see any other questions. So I want to thank you for spending time today, especially since it's almost midnight.
Yeah. Well, no, I really appreciate the opportunity, Mike. So thank you.
All right, guys. So I'll post the recording in about an hour or so on the AMA thread. And if you have any questions that were not answered, you can post them in that thread. Also, Peter, do you want to share some contact info or an email address if people want to contact you?
People can get me on the forum, Dionysus Toast, or jigsawtrading.com.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you head to bed. And for everybody else, I'll let them get back to trading.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Peter.
And thanks a lot, Mike. Bye.
Sure. Bye.